All right, so I'm just going to check and see. Yeah, there's an issue with Samsung and them reading live. Okay. All right, very good. So I have to get off my Wi-Fi in order to do a Facebook Live. What a pain in the ass. Okay, now I kind of know. All right, sexuality, death, and programming. Yeah, it finally dawned on me all this stuff about sexuality and why the jelly juice will, yeah, it'll decrease your sex drive, absolutely, because you're not dying. Those who are dying are, well, first, yeah, they're programmed. So when you're dying, you're programmed. And when you're dying, you're also very sexual. You also have to look the part that has programmed people to find certain things attractive. Now, you see in pictures on Facebook that pictures from the past that shows what was attractive at the time would not be something that we would think is attractive today. Okay, there were Rubenesque women that had a lot more weight than what these women today have on as far as being sexually appealing. And they were looked at as the thing to covet. Okay, the thing that's the thing that they wanted their wives to look like and all that. So sexuality and programming and death all go hand in hand. And that's why when I proved that when you take a positive and a negative, okay, you take an antibiotic and a probiotic, and you put them together, there is a fight to the death, and then from that fight comes a baby. That's what conception is. It's a new concept from a type of war. And then that's at the micro level, because that's when you take a protein that has a virus in it that came from the respiratory system that housed all the person's DNA. And so that's like a positive. And then you're taking something like a catalyst, like an aggressive catalyst, let's say like mercury or some kind of heavy metal that is in an egg protein. And then you have them bind to each other. There's going to be a fight to the death. There's going to be a big bang, explosion, whatever. That's what causes the immune response in people. Now, they say they're not using thimerosal anymore in the different therapeutics. Okay, fine. But there's other catalysts. There's other things. There's other negatives inside the therapies that cause the immune response. And it has the programming of what it wants the body to react to protect against. Okay? And so then you think about war. Remember, the baby boomers came from on the heels of World War II. And you saw those hundreds and thousands of men coming from overseas in the big ships. And you saw the women couldn't wait to get them into bed and whatever. And they all got married and had like 50 million kids. Like literally 50 million kids. And that was because the sense of extinction, the body sensing destruction, sensing a change in the universe, change in the algorithms, it will prompt it, think there's an extinction of the old world. And it could be a very microscopic old world. And then it wants to develop a new representation of the new world. And I said this before, but I had to figure out because, like, well, you know, I'm getting my period, but I haven't gotten. I don't remember the last time I got it. Probably was last month. But every single time I get exposed to a new variant, it interrupts my period. But I'm like, okay, I'm getting my period. Am I dying? No, I'm not dying. But what happens is that it senses when a new aggressive virus is in the atmosphere, is in my universe, something very, very aggressive, like this COVID stuff, okay? and my body gets exposed to it. Yeah, I can feel the algorithms when I am exposed, and then I know my husband wants to do something at least once a week. Fine, okay. Some days I'm just like, Other days I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. I can tell when things work and when things are just like, what the hell, And it has been more than it's been working, more than not. If our environment was very calm and there wasn't all these viruses thrown around, and everyone was at relative equilibrium and there was no war, no nothing, you wouldn't have sexually active people. You wouldn't need to, if we had a place where there was a birthing center that was far removed from the general population, and all that war and conception and all that programming that is very aggressive, because you to raise a kid in this society, you got to be aggressive with this child to get them to figure out how to survive, because it's aggressive in the environment and aggressive in the society. And then you had a regular population with no war, with no one's programmed to be sexually attracted to someone. When you have, then no one's they're not gonna want to have sex. What's the point? There is no sensing of an imminent destruction. It's when you put in a divergent. When you have a homogenized population, everyone's happy, everyone's doing great. Well, I don't say happy, but they're doing whatever, right? They can be happy, I suppose. And then you bring in a divergent. That divergent then releases a bunch of viral semen. Mucus is like semen. See, that's what I'm saying. The alimentary canal, there's one big progenitor. Your mouth can release semen, which is mucus. You could be the seeds of life. Men and women can be seeds of life and also bear babies. You just put an egg in it. I mean, that they're doing that. They're already showing you they're taking trans people and putting uteruses in them. So, okay, fine. That's science. Science is science, right? And so, your mouth releases mucus. That's viral babies. That's going to go and inseminate those who are the nearest host. And that men who carry the sperm, the testicles, whatever, are going to go and release all of their seeds to the nearest thing that they were programmed to go after. That's why the whole circumcision is so crazy. That's why all the porn industry. That's why all the programming of what's attractive, the skinny girl that wears all the makeup and the big boobs and all of that. And so that's why we have so many predators in our society, because not only are they on the decline, but they've been heavily programmed by the porn industry, by the different things, the different triggers for them to then go in and want to enact whatever it is they were programmed to enact. And you don't know what kind of viruses are in the environment that has this type of programming. You have no idea. There's been so many experiments done since the 1950s, 1940s. We know about MK Ultra. We know about what happened in World War II. Even, I'm sure, before that, there has been so many experiments done on people where they do program to like a tree or fall in love with a tree or objectophilia or whatever. And then we know that the genders are something that was given to us based upon a programming. So that's not even a real normal, or I mean, it is for a specific time until it changes. And so even gender is a construct. Literally, it's a construct. So then you're just like, holy shit. So then you realize that you are in a simulation that's been programmed to procreate, and you find certain things desirable. You find your sense of normalcy based upon the programming of your society by adhering to certain laws and certain traditions and certain whatever. And so that's people's equilibrium until something comes in and changes it, whether it's a new virus, a new idea, and then people react to it and things go viral. And so there's a birthing of a new idea, which is very painful. You saw that freaking 2018, but also the birthing of the people who didn't want to feel their predispositions, didn't want to feel all the viruses that were laying dormant within their lymphatic system. And then when Jilly Juice came in and woke everything up, they were feeling their predispositions unexpectedly, didn't know how to react to it, except to like, holy shit, I gotta go to the medical system now. And that's where people are freaking out. And so you know, the birthing of anything new, the birthing of a new idea, a new virus that will go in and proliferate and be scattered and fertilize people who want to be fertilized, who may not want to be fertilized, but it doesn't matter. You can't get away from viral fertilization, because that's essentially what viruses are. They fertilize anything that's in its path. And you could be birthing babies, when you think about it, at the micro level, which is cell replication. That's what these therapeutics do, is try to block the birthing process. But then you already have a bunch of viruses that haven't really been fertilized because of all the immunotherapies circulating around in the environment that are blocking it, because you happen to be exposed to someone who had a therapy that was blocking that kind of virus. And so you have a lot of those things inside that are holding it back, and then either a really aggressive virus or some catalyst of energy or some event like a car accident or high stress will then wake up what is asleep inside, and then the things start fertilizing. Yesterday I felt bloated. Oh, I was bloated. I felt like I was 100 pounds. I look at my chin, I'm like, damn, I have like a double, triple chin. I'm like, well, that's okay. And today I released a bunch of stuff. I released a bunch of green gooky stuff out of my nose. I had to release a bunch of poop. I mean, it was just like, where the hell is all this poop? I didn't eat that much yesterday. But no, when you've been exposed to a virus that is now fertilizing all of your cells, you're going to have little viral babies. Okay? And then when the body finally goes in and does whatever upgrades and whatever the heck that those viruses were meant to do, that are the intelligence, then your body has already figured out how to differentiate between the good viruses that are going to help you versus the ones that are antibiotic that will try to negate the nutrition in the food supply, and then that goes out in your waste. It's held in certain storage areas in your body, like your colon and your lymph nodes. And last night I felt my lymph nodes, they were sore. They were freaking sore. And I'm just like, okay. And then I see people on my Facebook, they're just like, oh my God, my mom's in sepsis again. Oh my God, I have, an issue here. And I've been watching this person whose mom was in sepsis and had to go to the hospital back in April. And now she's back in it. And now we're like in May. And these viruses are chipping away at people if you don't know how to respond to them, because they are a fertilization. But how much growth can you handle? That's why you have an immune system, and you have food, and then you have the salt water to go in and realign, like, periodically. I'm not saying that if you've already done the J juice and you've already done the many resets and you don't feel anything, that you then, when you feel something, you do J juice. That's absolutely not what I'm saying, and I've been saying that forever and ever and ever and ever. You have to feel these viruses, but what you need to do is you need to blow your nose. You need to figure out the background of a sphincter. And that right there, your mouth and your sphincter have both been atrophied by the medical system because you didn't want to feel the diarrhea, you didn't want to feel the mucus. And so when you're taking drugs to atrophy your lines of defense, to stop the mechanisms to disable the prostaglandins from creating the blood flow and the cramping mechanisms to push stuff out, then you're holding all of that stuff in. And so that's the thing, is that's what people don't realize, is that even if they do the J juice and then they get off it fine, and maybe they're blowing their nose, but they're still getting constipated, or if they're constipated, they don't know how to get it out, and they don't want to touch their butt, or they're doing enemas, and enemas are just going to be training your body to, enemas, I guess, what's the difference? Sticking your finger in or sticking an object in? I don't know. I'm not into sticking objects in my body. I figure I have my hands for a reason, so I'm supposed to do my own thing, but I'm not sticking anything else except for my hands and my body. So you figure out, if you really think that enemas and sticking shit in your body like that is appropriate, okay? And go see a doctor if you have to do an enema. All right? So that's the thing, is that you have to realize that even your body will hold on to stuff, and you have to, because it's been trained to. Because of all the Imodium 80s, all the things that are disabling our lines of defense, because we don't want to feel pain. And we were told that when you do get diarrhea, that you're supposed to take electrolytes like salt and water to replace the electrolytes that were used to push out all the offending bacteria. And so when you have all these different drugs and surgeries to bind and disable your body's defense system, then that's how easy it is to program someone, where they have to go to the doctor all the time. So then you look at the beautiful people in our society and you know they're dying. You look at the sexually active people in our society, you know they're dying because they have their lines of defense disabled. Not all the way disabled, but disabled enough for where they can be okay for a certain amount of time until some new virus comes into the world and upsets their homeostasis. And they're like, oh my God, I feel something. And they go to the doctor and they get a nip and a tuck. And yeah, they might be good for a certain amount of time, but you know they have a lifespan, but they're okay with it. Remember, that's their religion, that's their politics, and that's their science. Okay, fine. But you have to recognize it. And that's why the love, and the beauty and then the whole succubus and incubus, why they were looked at as like demonic. Because I'm not saying they're demonic now. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to insult people, but that's where the allegory comes from, is when those who are on the death trajectory that are near death, or the body senses that it's near death and it's been programmed to be in a certain way. And when there is an event, whatever it is, significant event, and it senses extinction looming somewhere in the future, then it will go and turn on those hormones. And that's when people look amazing because they're out there to procreate. Though they're saying now we want to disable your ability to have children, okay, which I understand because we have so many freaking kids out there that don't have a clue on how to live their life and their parents aren't teaching them that. And so we're trying to cut down the population. So they're like, but that's the thing is that now we have beautiful people who are out there trying to procreate. And yeah, there is contraception, there is operations and all that stuff. And there was Planned Parenthood, maybe not anymore because of Roe v. Wade. And so we're entering into that simulation of people just clashing over that. So, okay, whatever. I said my piece on that the red states are trying to stop the blue states from having babies, which means that the red states are bringing in blue state people who are going to oppose them. That's perfect. Yes, let's bring in... Let's save the ideology that you're trying to that you're fighting against, because that's predominantly who gets the abortions. Is somebody in the blue state who's in their 20s, maybe had a kid or two, maybe not, that have some college but not a lot, and are poor, impoverished, and they are blue state. They are very left wing. That's who gets the abortion. So then you have a red stater, a MAGA, a Trumper, who's like, hey, we want to save all the babies. And it happens to be someone who's completely opposite of their politics. That's the irony. That's, oh my God, it's the funniest thing. I have to laugh. And so I just say, okay, I'm just watching it. But that's the thing, is all the beautiful people in our society, all the people who have their six packs and they're way next to nothing, who are extremely sexual, who are extremely oozing love, and you can tell that they are going to be amazing in bed. They are on the death trajectory. They're on their way out the door. And that's because they have been touched by the hand of the negative God that is causing them to now go and find someone or something, even if they can't do it or don't want to do it or have done already and they don't want to have any more kids. They're still enacting the carrying on the genetic line because the body senses extinction. And I knew that a couple years ago, but I had to pull back from that because I was still getting my period and I couldn't figure out why. And then I figured out, oh yeah, the damn fucking virus. The virus is going to bring up a lot of the predatory in people, especially sexually. That's why you have to be very careful with your kids. Because when people are already just on the decline, because yeah, circumcision is an aggressive event against the body's sexual organs. That already the body senses a looming extinction event when you are actually getting something done like that to you. But that was the nation building. So when you're getting circumcision on boys, and then they're programmed to go after certain kind of girls because of all the TV and the media and all that. Okay, and so then they want to go and proliferate at a young age, right? Younger and younger age. And then you have the viruses that was released, a new one, a crazy one, that went in and upset the homeostasis. It caused people to then bring up stuff that was laying dormant from within because they weren't releasing it. Their lines of defense were active, and now we have a new virus, and all the therapeutics that they were done is now waking up and coming to surface. Everything in the universe and at the surface And people are on the prowl. They're looking for the weakest link. It is seriously like the zombie apocalypse. It is, sorry about that. It is literally like the zombie apocalypse. Like literally. This stupid internet thing with this Facebook Live, Jesus Christ. Okay? And so that's what's going on here. Is we're dealing with the zombie apocalypse because people are at the surface. Everything is at the surface. And I have to figure out how to, I don't know. Why is Samsung having issues with this stupid Wi-Fi? All right, well, whatever. I'm not gonna worry about it. But I'm gonna be done, so I gotta write. But I want you to see everything that I knew about sexuality, death, and programming was exactly correct. So my instincts were correct. I just had to figure out how to prove it at the micro level. And I proved it. We are in a very dangerous society right now because everybody is at the surface. As far as all of their idiosyncrasies, their predatory behaviors, all of that. And people are dying. And when they're dying, they're looking to procreate. And they're going to find the weakest ones. Watch your kids, watch your girls, and watch your boys. Because sexuality, boys or girls, men and men, women and women, vice versa, it's all uploading information. That's why I'm saying the phallus and all the different instruments, the vectors, will still inseminate any cell or a womb. And so now you know that that's why there's so much sexual violence in our society. Because the people are dying. All right, bye.